I hear Bahamut is offering up new gifts this time of year.
Well, you're not too far off, Ted. We've got draconic gifts from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
I'm Nerdarchy Steve. Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds.
I guess it's time to open up some gifts.
All right, so I see you got your dead tree copy there. I got mine pulled up here on D&D Beyond. And you know, like with most chapters, we get this cool little saying from Fizban.
You know the proverb, don't look a draconic gift in the mouth. Some say it's because of the breath weapon, but really, it's the smell.
Fizban does make a lot of wisecracks about the smell of dragon breath.
Numerously throughout the entire book. You're absolutely correct.
So, all right, so you know, draconic marks, draconic gifts. You know, they come with the marks, and there's a little table with a D4 for the visual manifestation. One or both of the characters' eyes change color to resemble the dragon's eyes or scales.
The dragon's hair or a streak of it changes color to match the color of the dragon scales.
A mark like a stylized dragon eye or claw appears on the body.
Or patches of scales appear on the character's body, typically on the neck, shoulders, or forearms.
Which is, super cool. Like you're gonna have a manifestation. You're gonna see it aesthetically. It's going to look cool. Or conversely, it could cause like some social situations that may be good or not so good for your character, depending on what's going on in your game. How do they feel about someone showing up that's got scales that maybe shouldn't, or weird eyes, or strange tattoos? Is there is there a stigma for those kind of things?
I like these little things because it kind of gives you the option, both as a player and as a GM, to say, okay, well, I want to reward the players with something that's not just an item, so it's not something that can be taken away, but it also could be a way of like, oh, well, I want my character to look visually different and to be able to stand out for whatever reason. And it's things like this that, really, sell that point, home.
Yeah, so I guess the concept behind draconic gifts are like they're a boon you receive from a dragon, but also it could be something that happens to you because you encounter a dragon or slay a dragon, and you may just like spontaneously manifest one of these gifts. There are 7 of them, and there's a section about just basically using feats as draconic gifts as well.
Mm-hmm. And the draconic gifts have a rarity. If you kill or encounter a wormling, it could be uncommon. Rare is young, very rare adult, or legendary is ancient.
Yeah, so there's definitely a thing that goes by. Real quick, you notice Ted's holding one of these books in his hands. We actually received several of them from Wizards of the Coast and their PR company, which we greatly appreciate. Thank you. But what does that mean for you folks? If you're familiar with the channel, you probably already know when we receive these books and other things from RPG companies, we put them in our giveaway pile so we can share them with you. Our own Dragon Horde. Every month we give them away in a giveaway. If you happen to be a supporter of our Patreon or a member of our newsletter, you get chances to win. If you belong to both, you get a chance for both. There will be a link down in the description for both of those things. Also a link for Amazon. If you can't wait till then, you want to order your copy. It's a really good book. It's an affiliate link. We get a small commission anytime someone uses that link. If you don't have a local flags to support, you can help support us.
But if you're looking for another way to support the channel, why not head over to Patreon and support us over there to keep making videos like this and all the awesome content over on nerdarchy.com.
As a special thank you, As a special thank you, you'll receive 5e content for DMs and players alike every month. We make spells, magic items. Sometimes we turn those into print and play cards, drop-in encounters, feats, subclasses, races, probably a whole bunch of other stuff I'm not even thinking about. There's a link down in the description, one of these cards up here, for a free sampler download of our Patreon awards, so you can check them out before you become a patron. Feel free to go click those links and get those free downloads.
All right, so there's going to be 7 draconic gifts within Fizban's treasury. First up, Draconic Familiar. Dragon gift uncommon. You gain the aid of a Draconic Familiar, which might be a splinter of the consciousness of the dragon instead that invested you with power. You can cast a Find Familiar spell as a ritual without using any material components. When you cast a spell in this way, your familiar always takes the form of a pseudo-dragon. Additionally, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your pseudo-dragon familiar to make one attack of its own with its reaction.
So, it's adding to the repertoire of what you can do with the Find Familiar spell. Yeah, you kind of get to add this spell if you didn't have it before, and you can use it to summon a pseudo dragon. It's very specific, and also it's a little bit enhanced because you can give up one of your attacks to have it attack.
Sure.
We should be. There's only one wizard that I can think of that might be more useful for than some of the others. Like if you're playing a Blade Singer.
Right.
But if you're not playing a wizard, it's pretty useful for a lot of different characters. Like if you're a warrior, you got a bunch of attacks. You can share them with your pseudo dragon familiar, and also, if you're not a spellcaster that normally wouldn't get access to the spell or a familiar, you can have one.
Yeah, lot of fun, and we all know, the love of having some kind of pet or companion, and here's another way to get it.
Perfect for the Drake Warden Ranger.
Absolutely.
So next up we have Draconic Rebirth. It's a uncommon gift. You become a Dragonborn. You replace the racial traits of your original race with the traits of the Chromatic Gem or Metallic Dragonborn, detailed in this book. The kind of Dragonborn you become matches the family of the dragon that has the source of this gift. You keep any skill proficiencies you gain from your previous race, or you can gain 2 skills of your choice. So basically, you want to change your race, you can do that here.
I'm not really fond of the things that say, oh, let's make these sweeping changes and replace what you already had. I like the stuff that says, add on to what you already got. So how about your appearance changes and you look more like a Dragonborn? In fact, other than, your height, you resemble a Dragonborn. And choose whichever of the Dragonborn qualities that you would normally get, and then allow you to keep your racial stuff because, that could be there. It's useful for a character who decides, well, you know what, I want to keep the character as is, but just be a Dragonborn instead. Well, why don't you just play a Dragonborn from the beginning? Like, unless you came out and said, oh, the new Dragonborn are so much better, I want to play one now. This is just wonky.
Yeah, well, yeah, this one's a bit on the weak sauce side. I mean, it's only good if you're like, oh, I want to play this character, but as a Dragonborn all of a sudden, then it could be useful. And maybe things happen in the story and it makes sense to do that. But for the most part, yeah, there's probably much better gifts that you could get.
So next up is Draconic Senses. It's rare. You gain keen senses like a dragon. So you have blind sight to a range of 10 feet. Within range, you can effectively see anything that isn't behind total cover, even if you're blinded or in darkness. Moreover, you can see invisible creatures within that range, unless the creatures successfully hide from you. And keen senses. You have advantage on wisdom perception checks.
Yeah, way better than the last one.
Totally.
Blind sense is awesome. Advantage on perception checks. Being able to see invisible creatures. What's not to like? So then we have Echo of Dragon Sight. Very rare. You've begun to extend your awareness beyond the single world of the material plane that is your home. You can cast Contact with Other Plane as a ritual. The entity you contact is a dragon on another world in the material plane, so its knowledge of your world might be limited. Also, the dragon is an echo of the dragon who is the source of the gift, which might affect its attitude and behavior towards you.
Not too bad. Contact Other Plane is something that has its uses, and if you have access to it outside of your normal spell selection, you might look for ways to be like, oh, well, can I try and do this here? Can I try to do that there? It makes it more useful because it's outside your usual repertoire, and I think that makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, it might be a good opportunity for role playing. Like, if it's like the echo of a dragon that you encountered that gave you the gift, maybe that dragon, like maybe you got it because you slew the dragon. So, and like whenever this gift happens, like the echo knows, so they're like hostile towards you. So it's like this competitive relationship. And maybe they're actually cursed with like mortals across the multiverse getting this, and like so they always are being contacted from immortals that have slain
Dragons.
the dragons that is an echo of that. It's like it's other. So you could like think of cool story things to do with it. I mean, that's just one example. I'm sure creative DMs out there could come up with your own things to make some interesting role playing or story elements out of it. So we get Frightful Presence is a very rare gift. Echoes of the dragon's might linger around you, and you can call on them to inspire fear in those who stand against you. As a bonus action, you can manifest your Frightful Presence. Each creature of your choice that is within 120 feet of you and aware of you must make a Wisdom saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. A creature that fails becomes frightened of you for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. Once you use this ability, a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So basically, a bonus action, fear effect for a minute. And you get to use it, your proficiency modifier a number of times a day. That's pretty good.
Whenever I see these kinds of abilities, I always attach and like reread the specific wording just to see like how is this going to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of times things will say like, oh, your allies, your enemies. This specifically calls out, each creature of your choice. So I like the fun here that even though it's kind of a dick move, you could have, like, if you've got a barbarian who winds up going in, slaying a dragon, getting this kind of thing, and just be like, nah, I'm gonna be scary. I don't care whether you're my friend or not, and just boom. And just see what winds up happening during the fight. And even if your allies have to flee from you, so be it. I like that fun and the choice being given to the player.
Yeah, so like that's one way of going. One of the things I instantly thought of is like, what about, like again, the barbarian example that has this gift and like he's about to square off against the champion of the other side and a bunch of the minions, right? And he uses it, but purposely ignores the champion and just scares away all the minions.
Yeah,
like it'd be a total like power move and intimidation factor. So yeah, I think there's some fun things. It's great if you have a character that doesn't have a bonus action to use, and I would love to see like what scary ways your players might flavor this power.
Yeah, and that's something that I was going to say it's kind of a secondary thought of being able to call out the lone enemy, but that specific wording allows for both of those things to happen and more things beyond that might not even think about. So next up is Psionic Reach, very rare. The psionic energy of a gem dragon powers your mind. You gain resistance to psychic damage. In addition, you learn the telekinesis spell. You can cast a spell without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. You also can cast the spell using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. The spellcasting ability is Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma, and you make the choice when you choose this gift.
I just love anything that adds to your spell list. That makes it super useful in and of itself, and then the free casting in addition to it, nice.
I'd make one more change to this. I'd give you Mage Hand as well.
I mean that's within purview. Giving out a cantrip is not a super big deal, but yeah, you could definitely do that. It's your game, Ted. You can DM how you like. I'll give you my permission. I kid. No one needs anyone's permission. You run the game however your group likes. So we got Scaled Toughness, legendary. Your skin toughens, making you resistant to certain types of physical harm. Gain resistance to piercing and slashing damage. So no pokey stabby for you, my friend.
It's rather simple, rather easy, but
Did you try and cut me, or stab me? Yes or no?
it's not magic, non-magic. It's it's all of it. I don't know of a single character who wouldn't be like, yes, please.
Yeah. Then we finish things up and round things off with Tongue of the Dragon, uncommon. You gain some of the majestic presence of a dragon. Dragon speech. You can speak, read, and write Draconic. Dragon's voice. As a bonus action, you can make your voice audible up to 300 feet away for 1 minute. Dragon's Wiles. You can have advantage on charisma persuasion checks. So it's uncommon. This is one of the weak ones, but it's still decent. Like you get languages out of it. You get the fun like booming voice. It makes me think of Chicken Little. Like I want to use the big voice. I hardly ever get to use the big voice. And then advantage on persuasion checks. Not bad.
All in all, it's a good little thing to be able to add on early. There are times that I think that being able to be heard from 300 feet away is entirely useful. But it's also there's times where, like, oh, that could be a problem. I mean, we had a situation happen in our game last night where being loud could have caused some serious issues to happen.
Yeah, it could have caused an avalanche. Almost did.
But it's definitely a lot of fun, and getting the voice, the wiles, and the speech is all something that is useful if you want to become more dragon, and you've got the ability to kind of gather some of these things and really become far more like a dragon than any dragonborn has a right to do.
Yeah, you can collect those draconic gifts like Pokemon, stack them up, and see how many you can add. But also, like, this is a good template for, like, if you just want to add different kinds of boons to your game, whether they're fiendish, celestial, divine in nature, or from another world like aberrations and the fire realm and stuff like that. I think this gives you a good idea of, like, what would that look like as a GM. So if you hadn't something you hadn't thought about before, now you can, and you'd be like, oh well, what would it be like if a powerful creature from the far realm granted a gift like this?
And then there's a section in here that has feats as draconic gifts, so that if you want to have a specific feat that your character is interested in, it could represent where it's coming from, and there's a whole list of what things fall into that realm, and it's for you to talk to your GM about and see whether that's something that's actually going to be able to happen.
But let us know, in your games, are draconic gifts coming up? Is your DM handing them out like candy, or are they stingy? Can you get them? Can you use them? Love them? Hate them? Share your thoughts and ideas down in the comments below with the Nerdarchy community.
While you're down there, don't forget to do all those fun things that make Nerdarchy and YouTube happy. Like, share, subscribe, even go ahead and attune to that notification bell so you don't miss a single video.
Quick reminder, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we drop new videos here on the channel, so come on back. But hey, you can't wait till then? No worries, we got you covered. Up here, there's a card you can check out. Horde magic items from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, a whole new way of magic iteming.
So until next time, stay nerdy.